All right, today we are. Have you ever So you've had a few questions on your practice work the last couple of days, or you might have seen what is a box and whisker plot. So it looks something like this. Have you, before seeing them in this class, had you ever worked with box and whisker plots before? No. I see. I hear a mix of yeses and no's. So okay, I see mostly no's. Okay. Interesting, huh? So we are going to learn how to construct a box and whisker plot today. It is kind of an interesting display. It's very informative. So it's a pretty neat display of data. A box and whisker plot is a way to display data on a number line by organizing it into 4 sections. So it's a display where we organize the data into 4 separate sections. And it's called a box and whisker, and you can see that this is an example of a box and whisker data display. And it has 4 sections. So you see this is what's called a whisker. Does it look like a whisker? Yeah. And then we've got the box section, and then we have another whisker, all right? And so this is an interesting way to display data. The box has 2 separate sections in it, all right? So there's the whisker, a little box, a bigger box, and then that whisker as well. And what happens is it literally takes the data, and if it's breaking it in, it's 4 equal sections. And so what's interesting is each little section, if we're taking data and chunking it into 4 groups, well, how much of the data is in each little section? 25%. 25% of your data is in each little section. And that's kind of really interesting. So 25% is in the little box, and 25% is in each whisker. And so you can get a visual of all 100% of your data. But you can also tell 25% of the test scores fell between 80 and 85. And that's kind of interesting data. 25% of the students in this group got between 80 and 85. That's pretty good. You can see that 50% of the students got, so this top half of students got above an 80%. That's pretty good, all right? It also tells you that the bottom 25% of your test scores, so the low 25%, it's very spread out, isn't it? So there's probably like a student way down here who got a really low score, but it's a bigger range. So it's kind of interesting to see the spread of that data as well, okay? So the values used to create the box and whisker plot. We have the minimum value, which is, of course, the smallest value. So we plot the minimum, and you can see the minimum right here on the graph. That is the minimum value, the lowest score on the box and whisker plot. It has a maximum value, which, can you guess? Yeah, it's the highest, the value. All right. And it's on the box and whisker plot right here. That's the highest. All right. Oh, so I put highest. I should just put maximum. I'm going to put max. There we go. All right. So we got the minimum and we got the maximum. And then what we do, once we have our min and max, we actually are going to split the data. And it's all we're going to do is take a bunch of medians. What does median mean? Middle. Okay. Middle. So the first thing we do is we find the median. All right. And this is the middle. There's an I in there, M-I-D-D-L-E, the middle value. All right. And of course, we have to make sure that our values are in order. Make sure, make sure we're in order. In order. I don't know. Make sure you're in order. Get all your values in order. That's always the good first step here. So we find the very, very median, and then we have a lower quartile and an upper quartile. The lower quartile is the median of the lower half. Half. H-A-L-F. It's a weird word, isn't it? H-A-L. Half. How? But sorry. So we have the lower half of the data. The lower half of the data, we look just at the lower half of the data and we say, oh, where's the middle? All right? And then what do you suppose the upper quartile is? The median of the upper half. That's exactly right. It is the median of the upper half of the data. So again, we look just at the top half and say, hey, where's the middle? All right, and that's how we get our 5 critical numbers there. So for quartiles, each quartile represents 25% of the data, which again is kind of interesting to know when you look at the data. Interquartile range is sometimes asked. Interquartile range is the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. The upper quartile minus the lower quartile, which we'll talk more about. It also represents the length of the box. The length of the box in our box and whisker plot. All right, so we're going to actually build a box and whisker plot here. The resting heart rates in beats per minute of a group of people are given below. Find the 5-number summary, draw the box and whisker plot, then answer the questions that follow. I really like the questions that follow. I think they're really neat. So I have all of this data of resting heart rates. What should I do with this data? Organize it. O-R-G-A-N-I-Z-E. Oh my goodness. You guys, I don't know how I'm going to make it to the end of the year. My brain is just like toast right now. Are you feeling that way? Yeah. No? Yes? No? Okay. Yeah. Yes? Okay. I'm just like, whew. Walk out the door, forget where I'm going, kind of brain. Like that's where I'm at. Okay. All right, we're going to organize our data here. What is our lowest data point? 50. All right, we got 50. Make sure you cross it off as you go. What's next? 55. Followed by 58. Where's 58? There we go. All right. And then we have 60. Followed by 62. And we got, I see a 64. 68. 70. All right. 72. 76. 84 and 92. Someone's heart rate was pretty fast there. Probably like my heart rate. All right. So I just want to double check and make sure I got all my data here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Now, what we want to do First of all, I know I have the minimum and the maximum. So my minimum is 50 and my maximum is 92. So those are really easy values to get for your 5 data points. I hope you boys are paying attention. Your computer isn't going to give you the answers. All right, now we need to find first the median. So the first thing we want to do, I'm going to put a number 1 by that. We need to find the median. The very middle of the data, I have 12 items. Where's the middle going to be? Between the 6th and 7th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, right there. So our median, because we have an even number of data points here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, falls between these two values. So we want to know, hey, what's in the middle here? 66. Now, what if we didn't know that because maybe the numbers were more challenging? How would we find the middle? Add them and divide. So 64 plus 68 divided by 2 is 66. But this one was pretty easy. So that is our median value. And so I'm going to put that right here, 66. All right. Then we need to find the lower quartile and upper quartile. And it doesn't matter which way we do that, but I'm just going to give them a 2 and a 3. So now, you'll notice I put a big red line here. So it's splitting my data. So how many data points are to the left of my big red line? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And how many data points are to the right of my big red line? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have my data split exactly in half. Do you see that? Okay, great. So what I want to do now, looking at my lower half of data, where's the middle? Between 58 and 60. Right there. This is the lower quartile. What is right in the middle of 58 and 60? 59. Okay. Does that make sense to you? That's the number in the middle? Okay. So that's our lower quartile, 59. So now I want to look at the upper quartile. So again, I just am looking to the right of my big red line here. And where's the middle? Yeah, between 72 and 76, it's going to be the very, very middle. And that's 74. And that's my upper quartile. So 74 is the upper quartile. Do you see how the blue data, there's 3 and 3 and 3 and 3. So everything got split. Does that make sense to you? All right. So all the data's been evenly split up. So that's kind of nice. Let's see. Our lowest data is 50 and our highest is 92. So I think I'm going to start here counting at maybe 45. And then I'm going to count by 5. So 45, 50, 55, 60. Got a label. 85, 90, 95, 100. That's good enough. All right, so I've labeled my number line, and now I've got to transfer my data. My minimum was 50, so I'm going to put a dot at 50. My maximum was 92, so I'm going to put a dot just about where 92 is, which is about right here. Okay? All right. And then I have my quartiles. I'm going to use my orange here, and I am going to sort of draw my box starting at my lower quartile of 59. At 59, I'm going to put my little vertical line, because that's going to start my box. At 66, I'm going to put my little vertical line. That's the middle of my box. And at 74, I'm going to put my vertical line. These are 3 lines that I'm just going to connect right across the top, and I just created my box. So just like I separated my data, I'm using vertical lines, and then that's how I connect my box. And then once you have your box, now I can just connect my whisker to my maximum and my whisker to my minimum there. on the sides of the box. Okay? How does that seem to you? Pretty easy? Yeah? Okay, cool. So we have some questions to answer now that we have made our box and whisker graph here. First of all, range. What is the range? 42. How'd you get 42? Yeah, we talked about range before. Range is always the highest value minus the lowest value. So our highest value was 92. And our lowest value was 50. And so 92 minus 50 is 42. So that is our range. What's the interquartile range? The interquartile range we said was the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. So upper quartile minus lower quartile. Our upper quartile was 74 and the lower quartile was 59. That's 74 minus 59. 50. All right. Now these are the questions I like. What percent of people have a resting heart rate less than 66? Yeah, how'd you figure 50? So looking at my graph, 66 is right here at my middle waypoint here. How'd you get 50? Half the data, yeah. Spread half. Remember, each section is 25%. So 25% fall on a whisker, 25% fall in the one side of the box, 25% fall on the other side of the box, and 25% fall on the far whisker. So if we're below 66, that's 25 and 25, which is 50. All right. So 50%. All right. What percent have a resting heart rate of no more than, what does that mean? No more than 74? 74 or less. So nothing bigger than 74, but everything lower is good. Well, where's 74 on my box and whisker? Yeah, the right side of the box. So who has less than 74? 75%. 25, 25, and 25 is 75%. What percent have a resting heart rate between 50 and 59? 25%. There's 50 and 59. That's my whisker. That's 25%. What percent have a resting heart rate between 66 and 92? 66 right here and 92. That's this whole side. That's 50%. Do you have any questions on that? All right, turn the page. We're going to practice just a little bit more making those boxes. Draw the box and whisker and give the 5-number summary. All right, so these are the number of games won by the Detroit Lions in their last 10 seasons. For some reason, I think they play a lot more games than this. Well, 10 seasons, but these are the number of games won. So they won 9 times. 9 out of 17, probably. Okay, so that seems okay. All right. This was written in 2018, I believe. So this would be prior to 2018. All right. The first thing we're going to do is what? Order it. Yeah, so let's see. It looks like 0 wins. Ooh, rough season. All right. Then we have a 2, a 4, a 6, 7, 7, and 7. 7, 7, and 7. All right. And then we have a 9, a 10, and an 11. All right, is that everything? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I do have all my data. All right. So, first of all, what is the maximum and minimum? 0 and 11 for the minimum and maximum. Very, very good. Now, the first thing I want to do is find the median, the very middle of the data. Where is the very middle of the data? Between what and what? Yeah, between 7 and 7. Yeah, right here. So we've got 4 to the left, 4 to the right. There's 2 in the middle. So it is splitting the 2 7s there. That is our median, which is 7. So you can see how we've got 5 numbers to the left and 5 numbers to the right. Now, how do we find the lower quartile? Where's the middle of the bottom bit of data? What's the middle one? 4. Yeah, so this one, because it's an odd number of data points, we do have a very middle number. So that 4 represents our lower quartile is 4. All right. What's the upper quartile going to be? 9. Yes, that is the middle number. So that represents my upper quartile, which is 9, and my median was 7. All right. It looks like I can just count by ones here. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. And let's see, I'm going to start with my maximum and minimum values. So I know I'm going all the way down to 0. And my highest value is 11. And I'm going to go ahead and draw my box verticals, the little verticals for my box. My lower quartile, I'm going to draw a vertical line at 4. I'm going to draw my vertical line at 7 and at 9. So there's my 3 vertical lines that I can just connect, top and bottom, and that's where my box comes from, my quartiles. And then I can connect my whiskers to my box. Does your box look pretty good? Yeah. All right. Beautiful. Let's try, I think, just one more, just to make sure, because it can happen so many different ways. We'll just do number 3, and then we're going to answer a couple more questions at the bottom. All right, this is the speed of 9 cars on the highway. Always interesting. I want to organize my data. So it looks like 54 to start. Then what? 58. Then 62 and 63, 65, 67, 70, 77, and 80. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. Okay. All right, super. What is our minimum and maximum? 54 and 80. Beautiful. First thing I want to do is find the median. All right, I know I have 9 values here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, right in the middle is our median of 65. Because there's an odd number, we have a value that's exactly in the middle. So we get to use that 65. Now, I have 4 values to the left. Where's the middle? Between what and what? Yeah, between 58 and 62. Our middle is between them. And again, if we didn't know that it was 60, that's the lower quartile is 60, we would take 58 plus 62 and divide it by 2. Add and divide. So if you're unsure, it's just an average, adding and dividing by 2. And then, oh, like this one. On the upper quartile, we're between 70 and 77. Well, how do we figure that out? Add and divide. So 70 plus 77 divided by 2. I need my calculator for this because I'm, All right, 70 plus 77 divided by 2, so we get 73.5. All right, 73.5. So that is our upper quartile, 73.5. So 73.5 and 60. All right. Our low is 54. Maybe it looks like, I don't know, I'm going to count by threes. 50, 53, 56, 59, 62, 65, 68, 71, 74, 77, 80, 83, and 86. So that's very good. The job is usually to spread out your data as much as you can, fill up your graphs. That's why I counted by threes. All right, so my minimum is 54, and my maximum is 80. And then I'm going to draw my verticals for my 3 quartiles. So lower quartile happens at 60, so I'm going to draw my big vertical line at 60. Nice vertical line at 65. And at 73.5, another vertical line. Connect those vertical lines. And then connect my whiskers to my box. All right, do you have any questions about finding your quartiles? No? Okay. Last thing, I just want to answer these A, B, and C questions here. What is the median score? 80. Median comes from the very middle, right there at 80. What percent of the students scored between 70 and 85? 50, yeah, that is 25% and 25%. So 50% scored between 70 and 85. How many students? Interesting, how many students? Now we don't want percent, we actually want to know the number of students. How many students scored between 45 and 85?
75% of 24.
75% of 24 students. How do you figure that out, ladies and gentlemen? You turn it to a decimal, yeah. So 75% is what decimal? 0.75, very good, 0.75. And then what do? Times, very good. Multiply. Of means multiply. So 75 times 24, and we get 18 students. Yes, of means multiply. All right. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes.
Yeah.